Nicole, a property manager for an apartment complex in Florida, was working with her coworkers on updating their disaster recovery plan. As they began to dive in on preparing for a disaster, including the aftermath, the subject of the building's emergency communication systems came up. They agreed they all have emergency phones in their buildings, but weren't quite sure what happens to them during a disaster. What happens when the power goes out? What if the phone lines go down? Are people at our buildings still able to place a call and get help? They began talking about how frequent disasters are these days, whether natural disaster from lovely Mother Nature or from something man-made. Tim told a story about his power and phone lines going down and having a resident stuck in the elevator. What a nightmare. The team questioned, how do we help ensure people get the help they need, when they need it most? Are there any additional measures we can take to put us in a better position? Kelly, also on the team, chimed in about the system at her building. She shared they have Kings III for their elevator and pool phones, and recently upgraded their Kings III emergency monitoring service to Kings III's FirstNet Ready M90 cellular device, which includes FirstNet connectivity. The group asked her what prompted her to make the change, and Kelly told them about her experience in the hurricane the year prior. The building phone lines went out, and that included those in her elevators. It took weeks for them to be restored. Her team was on edge during that time, not just for resident safety, but also for the company's own risk and liability mitigation. When she learned of the option to upgrade her existing Kings III service to now include FirstNet service and priority access, the decision was easy. Timeout. So, what's FirstNet? FirstNet, built with AT&T, is the only nationwide high-speed broadband communications platform dedicated to and purpose-built for America's first responders and the extended public safety community. It was conceived after the 9/11 attacks exposed weaknesses in the country's communication systems. Congress created the First Responder Network Authority to oversee the network build, and the FirstNet Authority contracted with AT&T in a public-private partnership to build this network. Think of FirstNet as the public safety VIP cellular network for first responders and those who support them with access to the connections they need, never competing with commercial network traffic. It's a physically separate dedicated network core purpose-built for public safety. It offers prioritized communications for first responders and those who support them. To help support public safety's coordination and communication, FirstNet is also available to an extended community of users, such as Kings III. And if the network goes out, you know that FirstNet will be there to help bring that service back as soon as possible. Back to team conversation. The group thought, man, it sounds like FirstNet really is the way to go. Nicole made a note to go back and look into FirstNet online, and found that with Kings III M90 device being approved as FirstNet Ready, Kings III is the first emergency communications provider for elevators and other specialty help phones with a cellular device equipped and approved for FirstNet. Nicole thought, well, this is a no-brainer. We need FirstNet. All of our properties do. Nicole prepared a proposal for her boss that they move forward quickly with Kings III service. One more thing off the list. Nicole's boss was so impressed and agreed with Nicole that all properties could benefit. At some point, each of their buildings, whether residential or commercial, are at risk for a scenario where FirstNet priority access would be helpful. Seconds count. At Kings III, we know because we've been making them count when it matters most for over 30 years. So when misfortune happens, whether we are responding to a trapped elevator passenger where a building has lost power during a storm, a multifamily community where a swimmer has suffered a heart attack, or a school on lockdown, Kings III monitoring offers a reliable, cost-effective solution with an added layer of risk and liability reduction. FirstNet and the FirstNet logo are registered trademarks of the First Responder Network Authority. All other marks are the property of their respective owners.